Hey Abslites! My last challenge run, Emerald with only a random starter, was fun, but I had no idea what to expect from it, and it actually ended up being pretty easy. Let's do one that I do know what to expect from, and I imagine should actually be pretty doable. Today we figure out, can I beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only one Zigzagoon? Stats-wise, Zigzagoon is by no means good, but it feels usable enough to me, having decent speed. Moves are where it really gets good. While we have nothing too special by level up, by TM, whoa! This is coverage god compared to what I normally use. Plus, there's a really broken combo that I may or may not use to frickin' dominate the Elite Four using a level up move and a tutor move. Let me know if you can spot it. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go, so this part is written before I start. Let me know if you think I can win or not. I'm confident I can win, thanks to the really good type coverage, but I do feel like Roxanne will be annoying. Alright, so the rules are pretty simple. I can only use Zigzagoon in battle, though I can use other Pokemon for HMs. I'm not allowed to use any glitches or exploits, and no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Let's do this. Right off the bat, I used Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Trico with Zigzagoon. I picked to replace Trico so that my rival will have Combuskin, the hardest for us to fight. I named it Kitsune, as a joke about how in the 3D Super Mario games, Luigi can never wear the Tanuki suit, and when he does, he becomes Kitsune Luigi instead. Yeah, it's a weird reference, I know. Here's our stats. Our nature is jolly, so less special attack and more speed. I don't see a huge problem with that, other than that we get a ton of good special coverage. Stats are about what you'd expect, largely balanced according to the nature. At level 10, I tried Roxanne. I tried the fight like a dozen times, and this is the try that got me the furthest. Thanks to an insanely good amount of crit, flinch, and mist luck, I got Geodude down to yellow. Since this was my furthest attempt, I think I need to grind. I tried again at level 25. I know it seems a bit high, but trust me, after like 100 attempts at level 20, it's necessary. I started by tail whipping the first Geodude once, then I used Headbutt, getting her to yellow. She used a potion, I used another Headbutt, I got a crit, finishing her off. I did the same for the second one, but she didn't heal, so it went a lot faster. For Nose Pass, I used one Tail Whip, one Headbutt, realized that I needed her defense down a bit more, so I used another 2 Tail Whips. Then, we took Nose Pass down with a couple more Headbutts, finishing her off. I know this fight looks easy, but after Helix knows how many attempts, I needed to grind, and I still needed to set up a bit, so while it was boring, this fight was not easy. Following that, Brawly was actually pretty easy, perhaps a bit unsurprisingly. The Chop was a 2-shot with Headbutt. Meditite, I took out with Tackle, followed by Headbutt. Lastly, came out the Makuhita. I used one Headbutt, I got the flinch, he healed with a Citrus Berry, and then my next Headbutt got a crit, finishing him off. Watson was really annoying. I started with one Tail Whip on Voltorb, followed by Headbutt to Oko. I did the same thing for Electrike. I got paralyzed by Static, but my Cherry Berry healed that right away. For Magneton, I used Sand Attack, he used Thunder Wave, I used Tail Whip as he kept missing Supersonic, he used Shockwave, I used another Tail Whip, and then he finished me off with another Shockwave. If I got a bit luckier, I might be able to win, but I think I need to grind. We can't get Dig yet, and this was like attempt 50. At level 33, I learned Flail, a move that goes up in power the lower my HP. If I start with less than 4% HP, meaning at this level only 3 HP or less, it has 200 power. You think that's a good idea? So did I. Only problem is that when I get my health low enough to maximize Flail's power, Quick Attack from Electrike takes me out, and on the runs he doesn't go for it, I still can't Oko Magneton. Gosh dang it, game. As much as I hate to do so, I just need to grind some more. I came back at level 37. Voltorb was a one-shot with Headbutt, as was Electrike. For Magneton, I used 3 Sand Attacks. After the third one, he successfully hit with Thunder Wave, but my Cherry Berry healed it. I then started Tail Whipping, did that twice, then took him out with 2 Headbutts. Last is Manectric. I used Tail Whip, he successfully paralyzed me, he used Shockwave, I used another tail whip, he used howl, I used another tail whip, he used another howl, and I used headbutt, echoing him, and finishing the fight. Next is our first battle with Team Magma leader Maxie, and he was pretty easy. I used headbutt, followed by tail whip, followed by headbutt to take out Mightyena. I then just one-shot with Zubat with headbutt. It's a Zubat. Lastly, for Camerupt, I used tail whip, he used magnitude 8, I figured I'd be at low enough health that flail was stronger than headbutt, so that's what I used. He used another magnitude, this time landing a 7, and I survived at literally 3 HP. After that incredibly clutch survival, Flail was up to 200 power, so I easily destroyed the rest of his HP with Flail, and Maxie was down. Flannery was really annoying, so after half an hour of attempts, I decided the easiest thing to do was to just show you every attempt until I win. I made the strategy of using Silk Scarf plus max damage Flail to sweep, because I knew that was my only shot without getting even more overleveled. I expected this gym to be easy, but Torkoal is such a physical tank that it really wasn't. The max damage Flail strat was cool at first, but stopped being so when it went from a strategy to the only way to win. I also needed a crit to win, which is better than some other things I've needed to do, but still took a while. Next up is normal leader Norman. Spinda I took down with 2 headbutts. For slacking, I used 2 tail whips, then he used 1 headbutt, doing about a third of his health. He used Facade, doing most of my health, and making Flail stronger than headbutt. I used another tail whip on the turn he was loafing around, and then I used Flail, finishing him off. Vigoroth I got to yellow, tanked a slash on 8 HP, and fired back with Flail, easily finishing him off. Lastly, I easily one-shot Slanoon with Flail, now that it's up to 150 power. It's time now for us to fight Winona, but I first want to do the new Mauville mission to get the TM for Thunderbolt. Now that we're actually fighting her, I started by taking out Swablu with a single headbutt. I then took out Tropius with 2 more. For Pelipper, she used Protect, but then the next turn she didn't, and Thunderbolt one-shot her. For Skarmory, I used Thunderbolt, she used Sand Attack, I missed a Thunderbolt, she missed a Steel Wing, and then I finished her off with a successful Thunderbolt. Lastly, for Altaria, I used Headbutt, she used Earthquake, I used Headbutt again, she used Dragon Dance, scaring me, I used Flail, knowing she'd heal, she used another Dragon Dance, I used another Headbutt, she used Earthquake again, letting me at only 20 health, and then I finished her off with another Headbutt. Winona is down. We're now at our next battle with Maxie. I started with Headbutt, doing about a third of his health. He used Scary Face, halving my speed and letting him outspeed me and use Swagger the next turn, which is good for me because I have incredibly good confusion luck. With my attack power doubled, I easily finished off the Mightyena. For Crobat, he outsped and used Wing Attack, doing about a third of my health. I fired back with Headbutt, he healed, and now we're just at a war of attrition. I snapped out of confusion, and then every turn he'd heal, but he was using a super potion, so he didn't get to fall, and then I finished him off. For Camerupt, I used a 4-time super effective Surf, getting him down to what's gotta be like 1 HP. He used Earthquake, getting me down to only 15 health, and then I took him out with Flail, because for some reason, he didn't heal. I'm really curious to know how Gen 3 AI picks when to heal. I feel like I'm supposed to do more plot stuff, but that's boring. It's time to fight Titan Liza. I used 1 Shadow Ball on Claydol, Zata used Psychic to take down the tail I brought in because they won't let you have only 1 Pokemon in the fight. Claydol used Psychic on me, I finished off Claydol with a 2nd Shadow Ball, they brought out Lunatone, and Zatu used Psychic to get me down to like 1 HP. Flail onto Zatu was able to one-shot at this point, but then Lunatone took me down. This was one of my furthest attempts. I need a new strategy. I don't want to resort to this strategy because it reeks of cheese, but I think it's the only way I can win without grinding up to an obscenely high level. Can you spot it? At level 41, we had the option to learn a Belly Drum, but I didn't opt to learn it because of how broken it is. Belly Drum cuts your HP in half, but in exchange, gets you up to +6 attack. I only have so much time, I can't just grind to no end. This is what we're doing. I got the Hidden Heart Scale in Lily Cove City, which is the only place I could reach one without dive, went to the move reminder, and got Belly Drum on in place of Flail, because I got tired of using Flail cheese thanks to it taking ages to set up. We're back for round 2, or more accurately like round 100, and I started by setting up Belly Drum. Xatu went for Psychic on Tailo, then Claydol went for Ancient Power, which is pretty weak. My Citrus Berry got me back up to green health, the one-shot Claydol with Shadow Ball, Xatu set up Calm Mind, and they brought out Lunatone. Xatu's Calm Mind ended up being wasted, and when I one-shotted with another Shadow Ball, but clearly they didn't learn because they went for another Calm Mind on the Lunatone after bringing out Solrock because of the weird way doubles work in Gen 3. Shadow Ball then proceeded to wipe out the Lunatone and the Solrock. Also, this was actually like my 5th attempt with Belly Drum, because doubles and mono Pokemon runs can screw you over that much. Now we're at our one battle with Team Aqua's leader Archie. There's not much interesting to say. The entire battle was a series of increasingly unlikely shots, such as getting a crate on every single one of his Pokemon. I probably could have won without freaking Crit City, but I only have so much time. The Water Gym leader Juan was comically easy, even if that was because of my cheese tricks. I set up Belly Drum, and then swept with Headbutt. Nothing to see here. While I'm working my way through Victory Road, I just want to point something out. I never use Belly Drum on the first attempt, because that just makes it too easy. If I use any setup move, be it Belly Drum, Swords Dance, Double Team, or anything else, that's always after at least 10 attempts, usually more, without any sort of cheese tricks, mostly just to see if I can. We are now finally at the Elite Four, starting with Dark Trainer Sydney. I set up one Belly Drum, he used Sand Attack, which ended up being a bit annoying, and then I swept with Belly Drum. I forgot to record them earlier, so here's our stats after Sydney. Make your final guess if we can win or not. I feel like we can, but I'm only at level 67. At some point I'll probably need to either grind or develop a new strategy. I might be wrong about that though. Belly Drum is frickin' broken. We're now at Phoebe, the Ghost Trainer. I set up Belly Drum, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Shadow Balls. While you see me destroy Glacier the exact same way, I just want to say one thing. I'm completely aware of the fact that this strategy is extremely cheap. If I wasn't, I would have been using it since Flannery. At the time of writing this, it is the day before I need to get this video out. I do not have time to grind at attempts until using any other strategy wins me the game. Belly Drum is basically my only shot if I want to get this video out on time. We're at Drake now, and he is pretty easy. I have nothing to say here. I used the exact same strategy to win as I have for previous battles. We're finally at Wallace, the Pokemon champion. And for once, the battle wasn't comically easy. I went for Headbutt, doing like a third. He went for Water Spout, doing exactly 100 damage and activating my Citrus Berry. I went for Thunderbolt, doing another third, and then he used Water Spout, which is thankfully at less power thanks to him being at lower HP, and thus didn't KO, and I finished him off with another Thunderbolt. Tentacruel came out, I used Thunderbolt, and then he used Sludge Bomb, finishing me off. This was my furthest of like 20 attempts. I don't think I can win at the moment. I came back at the exact same level, but with a new strategy. I used Sunny Day, and then he used Water Spout, which was weakened enough that it did slightly more than half, meaning that I healed with my Citrus Berry. Because the berry healed me, he didn't see a KO, so the sun baited him into setting up Rain, giving me a safe turn to use Belly Drum. I used Protect to stall out a turn of Rain, and then I took him out with Return. Tentacruel, I used another Protect to stall out more Rain, and then I took him out with Return. After having stalled the rain out for long enough, when the Swift Swim Ludicolo came out, the rain was over, so he couldn't outspeed me. Thanks to that, I took him out with a single Return. After this, I was super stressed that something would outspeed and be able to take me out, but thankfully, nothing did, and I one-shot the rest of his team. I had a ton of fun doing this run. While the grinding was annoying for some fights, say Roxanne, I still really enjoyed coming up with strategies, like the thing with getting to 1 HP so I could most effectively use Flail. I also love any strategy where the point is exploiting flaws in the AI, so using Sunny Day to bait out Rain Dance and let me safely set up Belly Drum was awesome. Also, thanks to Flygon HG's video about how Lanoon is really strong in Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke for that strategy. I would never have thought of that.